I like the community. The community is so much fun. I love being around writers. I love being around comedians. I love just being absolutely ridiculously silly and the back and forth. It's just fun.
It's so fun.
Some of your years in the wilderness where you're raising kids and you're under the cruel boot heel of Chuck Morgan, I feel like, that might have been a little lonely at times because you get such a natural high from being around audiences and other comics and talking about this stuff.
It's weird how my career would go. There were, every year I stayed kind of busy, and then there would be a big boom, and I'd get to go on a little tour with other female comedians.
Right.
And, we'd all be together, and that'd be fun. But there were a lot of times where I couldn't get booked, but then I'd get a television deal.
Yeah.
From ABC.
Yeah.
Something crazy like that, but then it wouldn't make it.
So then you get a call, Chuck Lorre, who is probably got the longest winning streak of creating hit sitcoms of anyone. He calls you and says he wants to do...
He flew to Knoxville and sat on the back porch. We fed him lunch. He barely eats. Cute in his pants. And me
you
being
make
a
it sound like there
woman,
wasn't even a TV deal. He just showed up on your back porch and you had to feed him. And then later on he said, hey, maybe we could do a sitcom. That's hilarious.
But me as a Southern woman, I was more worried about the food.
Yeah, of course.
But he came there, Warner Brothers flew him, and he sat on that back porch and said, I've watched your special, and I'd like for you to do a television show with me and ask me. And said that whole 10,000 hour thing. Like, Leanne, I can tell how much time you put into this.
Yeah.
That it was 20 years and that you put your time in. And that meant the world to me. Because I really have gone through times in my career where I thought, am I like one of these kids on American Idol that thinks they can sing?
Yeah. Yeah.
Maybe I don't have it. Maybe I'm crazy. So through the years, like Matt Williams that created Roseanne and Home Improvement, I had a deal with him. When it's people like that believe in you. But yeah, Chuck Lorre. And let me tell you, it went quick. It was like, Chuck Lorre, we're going to Netflix. We're going to talk to them. They bought it in the room. Yeah. Like, we'll do anything y'all want to do.
The show is Leanne. It's you. It's not, yes, you're working with these other great actors and writers, but you have to carry a big load in this show. And these shows are hard. It's a lot of pressure. It's a lot of work. And on top of all of that, you have to make sure that you're yourself, that you're not playing someone, you're playing yourself. So all those things are really tricky, and you've been managing it really well. You've been pulling it off. But that's no small feat to do that.
Well, the first 3 weeks, I cried every day and said to my youngest child, Tess, who's my makeup artist on the series, she does that for a living, and she took care of me, and she says now she's my caregiver, and she didn't sign up for that. But anyway, for 3 weeks, every day, I was like, pack your bags. We're leaving. I don't need this. Because I'll be on a huge tour and 100-city tour, 150-city tour for the last few years. And that's where I feel comfortable. And I know it's just me and I know what to do. This scared me to death. Yeah. I didn't know what camera blocking was. I didn't know. I had to learn a script every week, and I had not built that muscle up. Eventually I feel like kind of did. But I didn't know about table reads. I didn't know all this stuff. So it was a lot. And I was freaked out. I thought, I've wanted this all my life. And do I really want it? And then I kind of settled into it. Promise me you'll watch, like you'll go from episode 6 on.
Yeah.
Because in the first few, I feel like you can see it in my face. I was torn up and freaked out. But they did put pros around me and they all helped me.
But also, that's every single show.
And I do feel like I thought, during all that, and I was scared to death, I thought, well, I know I've got timing. I know I've got comedy timing. I know if they can get me in front of a live audience, I'll be better for that. And I did. We filmed it in front of a live audience on Friday nights, and that helped me. But I did feel like going in, I think I could be good at this.
Yeah.
Because of my timing. I feel like,
and your point of view.
I feel like I know what's funny.
Yeah.
I felt that confidence about myself. And then Jerry Seinfeld called me and said, was really sweet to me about his sitcom and all the things you said. He said Liam, we didn't even get picked up, and then they were going to pick us up, then they weren't, and all that. And he said, you'll find that, and you'll eventually feel like you're walking into your home.
Yes.
And you'll feel more comfortable. Yeah. And it really helped me what he did. And he also said, you've got to remember, Leanne, you got yourself here. You put in this work, and you know what you're doing, and you're the one that can get in front of a live audience and make people, or in front of, a theater of 3,000 people or whatever, and make them laugh for an hour and a half. You've got to remember that that's what you're bringing to the table. Not everybody can do that.
Of course, yeah.
So that made me feel good. He really helped me through that. I didn't know who else in the world to talk to.
Well, I called you and you didn't take the call. He said she's still on with Jerry. And then
I would have died if you'd have called me.
But I can't work my own phone. That's David's fault. I said get Leanne, and you got Pierce Morgan on the phone.
It was weird. I don't know how that happened. Yeah.
He just yelled at me. Where are you now? When do you start the second?
I'll start in January.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. And we have 10 episodes we're going to do. Right. Netflix does 8 or 10. The first one was 16, and the first plan was to drop 8, and then my new Netflix special in the fall, like drop 8 in the summer, then the Netflix special, and then 8 next spring. But they said they had got a wild hair and said, let's just try 16 and see what happens. And but most everything they do is 8 to 10. Yeah. So this time we're going to do 10 because they were, I think my audience, they either binge watched it. It did great.
Yeah.
But they either binge watched it and watched it 2 or 3 times the season, or they saved it like it was network television.
Yeah.
And so they were looking at the completion rate. Also, mine dropped the same time as those girls that were killing those boars in their panties, the hunting wives.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Well, now you got to fight fire with fire. An episode about you in panties.
Girl on girl action.
What? No.
What?
Hunting
No,
boar. No, I was not going to say that.
That's what they do, though.
Are you a horrible?
Well, that's what they were doing, and killing boars in their panties.
They were.
Wait, so
true.
it's girl on girl, and then they kill boars?
Yeah.
Where have I been? You just described my ultimate television. The only person missing from this scenario is Leanne. All right. Well, man, I have a question. Does the evil Chuck Morgan now, does it bother him that your special's about you being single? Does it bother him and you're going to be kissing guys does that bother him?
At first, when they announced it, I think really people thought that it was like a reality show.
Yeah.
And that Chuck Morgan had truly left me for somebody. No. And people started saying horrible things online to Chuck. And Chuck didn't even get on social media.
Yeah.
But he said...
took some heat at the Dairy Queen.
Yeah. And he said, do something, Leanne. People think that I've left you. And my own little daddy, somebody called him, his friend who's in his 90s, said, I hate so bad that Leanne's getting a divorce. And I said, Daddy, it's not real. It's like Beverly Hillbillies.
Yeah.
It's not real.
He said that's not real? I still think that's real, by the way.
But Chuck at first, and I kind of bumped on it. It felt weird to me that Chuck Lorre wanted to do that. But then I thought, now I realize how smart he was because of this. He said, Leanne, I think whether it's divorce or a job or a death or whatever, everybody, it's universal having to start over.
Yeah, yeah.
And he said, I think that, frankly, you and Chuck are boring.
Oh.
He said, that's just been done.
Yeah. Yeah.
And he said, I think because of that bit in my, also in my Netflix special, I talk about my girlfriends, if we had to get out and date, one of my girlfriends said, I think I could show somebody my left breast. The right one looks bad. But he liked that bit. And so, in your late 50s, if you had to get out here and, cat around, which, by the way, I do get to make out with Tim Daly in this.
Nice.
Sweet Tim Daly, who is precious. And I did say to Chuck Morgan, I'm kissing Tim Daly this week. They want me to kiss Tim Daly, and I was scared to death. And Chuck did not care. And I say this, but I think he really liked for me to make money. And I don't think he cares.
There he is, pimping you out again.
Plus, he knows I'm in menopause, and he probably thinks, she's not going to do anything. She doesn't feel good. She's on all those magnesium pills.
She's so doped up on magnesium. She's a magnesium junkie. You're buying it in parking lots.